afternoon. My name is Gino Frattallone. For some reason, and the reason I have to tell you a little story before I say why I'm here. I was in Acton TV station, and all of a sudden, 5 minutes before 4 o'clock, unfortunately, Ed Cohen, he's not here today because I'm taking his place as a co-star there, and he told me that he's an assignment. So he said, Gino, can you do me a favor? I says, what kind of favor? What can I do to help you? He says, no, you can do something for me. Just go to Westford TV station. I says to myself, 4 o'clock. It will take me an hour to get there. He says, well, do the best you can. Don't make those people waiting. I said, okay. So I go, usually take me an hour to get here from Acton. And today, I can't believe it, it took me half an hour, 30 minutes, right on the nose. And I didn't even speed. Would you believe that? I did not even speed. 40, 42 miles an hour. I think you allow another 5 miles. And I got here on time. And I have 2 beautiful ladies here and a handsome young gentleman. And they're going to tell me a little story. So now you knew my story. Now you will be able to hear their story. Would you be kind enough to tell me a little bit of yourself and
Sure.
tell me your name?
Sure. My name is Jen Capice, and I met Ed at a Dunkin' Donuts, and he was just really funny, and I bought him some coffee, and then he said, do you want to be on my show? And I said, actually, I'm running the Boston Marathon this year. It's the first time I've ever run it, and I'm running for the Martin Richard Foundation. So he's like, sure, why don't you come on and talk about that? So here I am. Thanks
Okay.
for having us.
No problem. Anything else would you like to say, or you just want to take a little break?
Sure. They can
Okay.
introduce themselves.
Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Jenny Kravitz. I am the 6 to 12 Science Curriculum Coordinator for the Westford Public Schools. I'm thrilled to be back on the Ed Cohen Variety Show, my second appearance. And this time I brought one of my colleagues with me. And we're going to talk about some of the ways that we've been teaching lately and how we collaborated recently and actually did some work here at WestfordCAT.
So you actually from for the school, am I correct?
Yes.
So Westford School, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And so my name is Joe Barnes. I'm a 7th grade math and science teacher at Stony Brook Middle School, and have definitely been collaborating with Jenny and the wonderful people here at Westford Community Access Television to produce some awesome experiences for the kids.
Anything else would you like to add?
Oh, why don't
Tell
we
me a
throw it
little
back
story.
to...
Tell
a
me-
little story?
Tell me a little story.
Oh, well, when we came here to WestfordCAT with
Correct.
our students to tape some sustainability environmental PSAs, which actually I think are playing on WestfordCAT periodically now, we came over 2 days because we have between us, like 50
Yeah,
students?
right around 50 students.
So it was too many to be here all at once, so we split it into 2 days of filming. And the first day we were here, we decided, we'll just order in some lunch and we'll eat here. But the kids were so well prepared, and the staff here was just phenomenal. Everything went so smoothly that we had tons of extra time. So we decided, you know what? Let's get the bus back here. Let's take these kids out to lunch. They deserve it. And so Joe picked the restaurant we were going to.
Yes, so one thing that's lovely about school lunch is it's normally about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, which most people would definitely call brunch.
Right.
So sometimes you struggle to find establishments open at that time to feed some hungry kids, and kids like pizza, so we found a pizza place near here that was open and ready to go.
Yep.
I misremembered the size of the dining room beforehand, so what I thought would be very easy to accommodate,
Yes.
thank you, ended up being a bit of a tight fit.
So I think there were 27 of us, 26 or 27 of
Yep.
us, and there were 18 chairs
Wow.
in the restaurant.
How the children behave at the restaurant? They were nice?
Oh, they were
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They were great. These
that's
kids are great. They were well behaved here. They were well behaved there. There were kids that were perfectly fine to stand and eat. And your brother actually helped save the day.
We had to call in some reinforcements and get my younger brother to come bring us some folding chairs to sit on the patio area.
You put them work everybody.
Yeah, you
Everybody
know,
was working.
Yeah,
it takes a village.
yeah. Yeah, but
That's really, really nice. Thank you for doing that. Would you like to say a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I live in Westford currently. I grew up in Lowell. My husband grew up in Westford as well. I am a school nurse in Bedford full-time. I used to work part-time in Westford, but I looked for a full-time position, so I'm now currently in Bedford. And how I got here and just about the BAA and my marathon journey, I guess, is in 2012, a group, 3 girlfriends and myself, decided that we would volunteer at the marathon. So since 2012, us 4 have volunteered since last year. And so I was there in 2013 with one of my girlfriends. The other 2 couldn't be there because of work commitments. But every year I've been there, and I just decided, I've had a couple of kids and bought a house in Westford. It's been a busy 5 years since 2013, but I decided I'm going to run this year.
Good.
So I am going from couch to marathon, and I was researching some charities that I could run for, and Martin Richard Foundation spoke to my heart, and I applied, and that's where I am today.
Beautiful. So were you a witness when that happened?
Yeah, I was in the medical tent in 2013.
Can you tell us a little bit of that story?
I can, but I'd rather look forward to like what they're doing now. It's just, it was chaotic. It was just everything you would think it would be. I was a fairly new nurse, so to be in that type of setting was unexpected, and but to see everyone rally, that's sort of what I come back to all the time. Just everyone just got together and did everything that they could, and it was a crazy time. And I'm actually using this time now to run to sort of help me go back and work through some of those things, because like I said, I had 2 kids since then and got married and bought a house in Westford, and so I'm sort of using this time selfishly to run and raise money for the Martin Richard Foundation, but also to sort of work through my own time
There's
there.
going to be a lot of supervision from police and fire departments, so I hope something like that will never happen again. I'm so sorry that you had to witness.
Oh, that's okay.
Like
Thank
that.
you.
It's tragic. Now, going back to you, young lady, you got to give me another story. You got to tell me something. I'm here to interview you 3. Otherwise, I get stuck. Then I got to get myself on a stage, and then people will say, "Get out of here, Gino."
Well, Jen, I do want to say, I want to thank you for probably everything that you did that day. I had 2 friends running in the marathon that year. They were very close to the finish line when that happened. And I know how difficult it's been for them, and so it's not selfish of you to go through this process, and I fully support you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So I wish you the best of luck, because marathons are long.
Yes, they are.
I think I've only run a 5K, and that was enough for me.
I have run in the past, but it's been over 5 years since I've run, so I'm
How many miles
hitting the
would it be?
reset.
How many miles?
26.2.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I used to teach martial art. I think I was running only up to 7 miles. Then I had to teach the kids. Now I don't think I make half a mile. But you know what I mean? That was one time ago. What about you, Joe? You got any little extra story to tell me?
Any extra stories to tell you? Let's see. I used to be able to run quite a bit, but again, has not happened in a while. Have you started your training yet?
Absolutely, yes. So the Martin Richard Foundation really sets us up, and we work with John Fury, 26.2, and he's our coach. And we meet up on Saturdays for our long runs.
Oh, that's nice.
At a physical therapy place in Boston, and we run the route. So the longest I've done so far is 16. Basically, I've done Heartbreak Hill twice.
Oh, boy.
So,
long way.
But they set you up. So I do encourage anyone, because trust me, I'm doing it from couch to marathon, anybody who wants to run a marathon, find a charity. They will help you through it. The camaraderie you make with the other people, too. And you're doing it for such a great cause. And all these people that support you and say, like, you're doing a great job, you know, you'll get there. You'll get it done. So you can do it. So next year, I'll look for your application.
That coaching is great.
Drink a lot of water. With you.
The coaching is great that they
Absolutely.
provide that.
John's awesome. Our program leader, Ethan, for Martin Richard, like, everyone sets you up. We have water stops. They have goo. They have hand warmers. There's just so much support out there. And it's all a bunch of different charities that meet up together. So BMC is there. Brigham and Women's is there. There's a ton of charities, and everyone's there trying to raise money. And all of us aren't really runners. I still haven't called myself a runner yet. So
Well, the question that I'm asking you, because you're running for charity,
yes.
why don't you tell the public
Sure.
where there's any donation they're able to give you, whether
Absolutely.
50 cents, $1 here,
Sure,
there,
absolutely.
where they're going to who's going to go. Tell
Sure.
them if there's a
I'll tell
website.
you. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you briefly just about the Martin Richard Foundation and what they're doing. So far they have about 50 runners, most of them charity runners, some of them qualify. I'm not a
Right.
qualifier. And they basically raise their money, they get a lot of their money from their runners. Each runner is set to raise a certain amount of money. And so far this year, we've raised almost $246,000.
Wow.
And we still have a ways to go because I think our goal is $600,000. What the Martin Richard Foundation does with that money, they have service days, they give back to the community. They have bridge builder programs, which is actually great for you guys in Westford. What it does is if there's a child that has a great civic-minded opportunity or idea to help the community, they can actually apply for a grant through the Martin Richard Foundation, and they can make it come through. And so they can actually make that come to fruition. So they do encourage teachers and coaches and anyone from, I think it's 5 to 22 to apply for those grants. So that's something that you
That's
guys can look
great.
into.
Do you have a website?
The website is www.
Slow again. Slow.
Sorry, it's my
Slow.
Portuguese-ness, see? www.teammr8.org. And there's a big donate button right on the right if anyone was ever interested in donating.
Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Go ahead. What about you? You're raising money too, right? Indirectly, right?
I would love to raise some more money for some of the stuff that we're working. Actually, we were talking about working on grant stuff. One of the things that we have been working on, so Joe and I teach at different levels. I teach at the high school, Joe's at the middle school, but we both utilize a technique called project-based learning.
I see.
Which is a non-traditional teaching technique that puts a lot of the responsibility and ownership on the students to drive the learning, where the teacher is there to facilitate and to guide and to help the students, but it's much more hands-on. So, for example, the project that we did doing the environmental PSAs, the students they were able to collaborate digitally, which was great because both of our buildings have devices. The school has gone completely Google, so they were able to video conference with each other to collaborate in a digital space. And so we basically set up those meetings, and the students took the lead and did the research and put together all the information and determined how to bring that to the community.
Excel, huh?
Oh, yeah. They loved it. They did a great job. And so something that we're looking forward to this spring is to get them together again between the two buildings and do some field work, some ecological work in the wooded area around the Stony Brook School. And something that we are going to be doing is hopefully looking for some grants to purchase some field cameras so the students can do some studies of some of the populations in the wooded area, the different types of animals and
To keep them busy.
yeah, to help them. Yeah, so for my course, I teach an environmental science course, so we do look at land and resource use and management and ecological impacts. And then in the 7th grade life science curriculum, they talk about ecological relationships between different types of living organisms. So it is a natural partnership for us to work together on something like this.
Will the school objective for you people to raise money funding for the project that you're talking about?
Oh no, we take in the school actually accepts donations of monetary donations and also donations of equipment.
I see.
For example, last year I was approached by someone who worked for a biotech that was closing a lab location, and they took all of the equipment and the supplies out of that professional laboratory, and they donated it to Westford Academy,
what a beautiful
which
thing.
was phenomenal. Just the caliber of instrumentation that we were able to bring in and bring to the kids has been fantastic, and so we certainly you know, we're a public school. We're working off of the funds that were given from the state and from the town.
Right.
And so anything additional that anyone, you know, brings forward to us, it's so appreciated. Yes, so appreciated. And the kids really do benefit from
We're
it.
very lucky that we live in a country that people understand what it is when somebody else needs something.
Yes.
And they're willing to donate it or make the best of it to
Yeah.
facilitate the situation.
Yeah.
It's really nice. What about you, Joe? Tell me.
So so we're really excited to really utilize some of the resources that we have in our schools. Something that I think is just incredible is just the land that Stony Brook has. You know, there's all these fields and all these areas that we can really explore and do some quality field work in, and I'm really excited to use some of those areas. It's been really interesting for me working with Jenny and working with some of the high schoolers and seeing just different perspectives on some certain things, and I think it's really fun for the kids to talk to the high schoolers and see their perspective on some things, and the high schoolers talking to the middle schoolers and kind of almost remembering a simpler time, as it were. A lot of them being juniors and seniors in Jenny's class, so they're quite removed from their middle school setting. So I know the students are really excited. I know we've taken advantage of Jenny's kids being willing to see some of our things, and you know, they provide a really, what we call an authentic audience for my students, to just give them feedback on different projects and assignments, and just really kind of build a friendship that's really kind of cool that we can do because we have the technology and all this great freedom that we have.
Is any equipment that you need in your project at all, or just you like to be able to use the land? That's what you like to see, use the land?
Yeah, I mean, I think Westford and Stony Brook definitely has a lot of resources, and I think, again, working with Jenny's class, we really would love to get some of those trail cameras, those field cameras, so we can start to look at the ecosystems that are literally in our backyard.
Right. Is it, conservation, did you ever plan to go and speak to the conservation department so they can allow you to go in different fields? Did you ever thought of that?
Yeah, that's something that my class is going to look into. So the way I've structured my environmental science course, it builds on a progression of projects. So the first quarter of the school year, we were really looking at what does sustainability mean, what is the state of the global ecosystem, and kind of taking stock of where we are as a human species in terms of the impact we've had on the earth and where we're headed. And then this second quarter that recently ended, they took a look at individual impacts, and so they did an assessment of their own households and how sustainable they are. We worked with the Stony Brook students to create the PSAs that send a message out to the community. What are some little simple things that individuals can do, like using reusable water bottles, avoiding disposable straws, composting some of your waste. There's a whole group of those types of things that we really looked at. So now that we're going into the third quarter, we are going to look at sustainability at the town-wide level. And so we will be reaching out to some of the different departments in town. We've worked with the water department in the past because they're like next door neighbors to Westford Academy, and they're fantastic to work with. But my students are going to be getting really into that and hopefully building some partnerships there. So then when we get to the spring, and we are looking at maybe doing some population tracking in town, probably I think some of these different agencies that we will build partnerships with would love to use some of our data, that it might help inform them with some of the decisions that they're trying to make, or also some of the public awareness that they might be working on.
All right. Is there any way they can, if any individual is willing to donate some equipment, would you tell them how to get in touch with you?
Yes. So
very slowly, so they can understand.
Yes, the school district website is WestfordCAT12.us. And if you go onto that website and you look at the curriculum and instruction, the Office of the Assistant Superintendent, and contact information, I am listed there as the 6 to 12 Science Curriculum Coordinator. My name's, again, Jenny Kravitz. And people can also email me directly, jkravitz@westfordk12.us.
Spell Kravitz.
Kravitz is Kravitz, just like Lenny Kravitz.
Okay, and you?
So you can reach me by email at jbarnas, JBARNAS, @westfordk12.us as well. Again, Jenny is the curriculum coordinator for that, so a lot of times we'd be in touch with her either way, which is awesome because Jenny does all this stuff. This is just great, so it's great.
So you have heard 3 beautiful people. They're only trying to do good. She's running, and we say a prayer for her because nothing is going to happen, but probably she needs a little prayer so she can go all the way, how many miles, honey?
26.2.
26, and be the first one to win, right?
Oh, the finish line looks the same.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how long it takes.
we want you to win $1 million, all right? And I hope the people in Westford or whoever watches this particular program, I'm sorry that I don't have any jokes to tell you because I miss Edward Cohen. I sit there, he sits here, and we have a lot of fun together. I really miss him today. But he was in an assignment, so he'll be back in a couple of weeks. I hope he invite me again because I hope he doesn't think I'm trying to steal his job. No. I'd rather be in that. I'm a very shy individual. I don't know how much I can say before the time is over. But I'm trying to do my best because he's a friend, and I wanted to help him because he told me, Gino, you got to do me a favor. How can you say no to a guy like that? Nevertheless, I hope the people that you saw here, 2 lovely lady, a nice gentleman, they're always trying to help the children, trying to help charity. So I hope you people are kind enough to do what you can. And we don't ask how much. Just do what you can, and we appreciate so much. I think I have another 5 minutes, and I want to see if I can get something out of these 3 individuals before the time is over. So I'll start with you, young lady. I'll give you enough time to rest. Tell me something else.
So I guess, let me think. Let me see. Can I talk about more of the foundation and what they're doing?
Yeah, you got 5 minutes.
All right, so they have a Challenger Sports program as well, which I think is great because what it does is for children that are either developmentally or physically challenged, they're able to buddy up with somebody and actually play sports. That's one of the programs that Martin Richard does as well.
That's
so
beautiful.
Everyone's all about inclusivity, I should say. They have a kindness library that they just started. Basically what they do is they fill backpacks up with books that are all about diversity and inclusiveness, and they give it to partnering schools as well. So they're doing a lot of great things, and they're very future focused. So they're trying to see how they can expand. And the one really great thing I'd love to say about the Martin Richard Foundation is that they don't try to compete with other foundations. They actually collaborate with other foundations. Good. So they actually give some of their money that they raise to other like-minded foundations, like the Dorchester Boys and Girls Club and Project 351, which unites all of the Massachusetts towns and cities. And they're all just about building bridges and choosing kindness and doing more.
So actually what they need is books, am I correct?
I think they choose specific books.
Okay.
I would
Can you
say,
just mention what kind of specific books they
I think if you want to get involved with the Kindness Library, I would say if you go on the website, again, which is teammr8.org, and then if there's a link to will send you to their staff, they can probably give you more information. If not, just a donation towards it would be great. And
so
also Martin's Park in Boston is opening up, I believe, this summer.
Beautiful.
Which is a great, great location right next to the Children's Museum. And it's all about adaptiveness and all people of different needs. And
beautiful, very nice, very nice. Okay, I'll give you another 2 minutes each. Come on, come on.
Well, I think we could talk about the second day of our field trip.
Oh, sure.
And, so after the
right.
first lunch went so well, when we all kind of packed into that small place, we brainstormed. We're like, well,
Yes.
you know, the next day we're gonna have actually. I think we had a couple more kids than the day before.
Yes.
So we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And it was such a nice day out there. We're like, you know what? Why don't we have a cookout? You know, we got the camping grill.
Yeah.
We could,
Wow.
you know, bring
Yeah.
some music. You know, bring some
Yeah.
games.
Right,
the kids,
right.
you know, after working so hard, could get outside and have a great time.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So we're like, oh yeah, the weather will be great. It'll be
It'll
wonderful.
be perfect. I think we checked the weather and we're like, oh, that'll be great.
Yeah, be like, you know, it's like,
Perfect.
again, it was in January, so it wasn't going to be like hot, but you know,
But it was nice.
you take what you can get.
Yes.
Right.
And so we got all excited, and we showed up to do that, and it snowed.
It snowed.
Snow.
So it snowed the entire day.
Yep.
It was supposed to like just
Yep.
flurry in the morning. It snowed the whole day.
Yep.
We could have used our meteorologist Ed to
I
help us out
know.
with that one.
I know. Ed would have been so helpful.
But yes, so the students did not choose to spend too much time outside while I
No, it was
cooked.
mostly Joe outside by himself cooking all of the burgers and dogs.
It was
Oh
a pretty lonely cookout.
Yeah.
It is.
But the kids had
Yeah.
a great time inside with the VR here that they have
yes,
here.
the VR, for anyone who hasn't been here and checked out the VR, it's phenomenal. My girls were here. They were actually on the show last time.
yeah.
So any regular viewers will remember my girls from then. And they were in there with the VR headset, and they were exploring. I think they were seeing whales in the ocean and turtles, and then they were drawing in 3D space, some very vivid drawings, very colorful, animated 3D drawings. Yeah, so our kids had a great time. There were games they were playing.
Yeah, there were games and all this stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it was definitely a lot of fun.
It was, and we shared our cookout with all the wonderful people who work here, who were so helpful in that project. But it was, over the 2 days, I think the lunches were very memorable.
Oh yes, certainly, certainly they were very memorable.
And at the end of all of it, the kids love being out of the building,
Oh,
getting
sure,
out, and kind of,
It's an experience.
Yes, and to do something. So I think one of the things they were very excited about was using the teleprompter.
Wow.
Oh, they were thrilled about that. So coming and we had one group that sat in a conference room
Wow.
to do some last-minute planning, and they just felt so official and that everything was so authentic, which is really something that we try and bring into our classrooms as much as possible. But to be able to leave the classroom and come to a real location like this, they were thrilled. They really got so much out of it.
Actually, I like just because you said, did you enjoy it here? Because Rotary, I invite Rotary from Westford, and they were thinking about it. Now they are coming. They are coming maybe next month, and we're going to probably trying to experience what you guys did right here.
Perfect.
And I hope they enjoy like you guys did.
Yeah, well, check the weather before you grill.
Oh, no, we're not going to do no grilling. No grilling.
Joe will cook for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, you just got to invite me back.
His brother too.
That's right. We'll bring some extra chairs. It'll be the whole
His
thing.
brother will bring the chairs.
Yes.
So for you viewer, I hope you have seen tremendous story about these three individuals. I hope you understand that giving is a blessing. So do what you can to help these three individuals. And my name is Gino Frattallone, and I thank you so much for being your host. It's over.
Ed Sullivan is dead, but Cohen is. And when it comes to weather, Cohen's smart. As New York as you get, his money's on the Mets, which goes to show that Ed Joe always bets his heart. You'll hear a slick review or two from Mickey. And can't there's something Bird will sing some song. There's weather news and shtick, enough to make you sick. You'll be glad you came over.